Hi all, I'm Rex King, and I've put together this image behind me so that we could take a look at what it actually takes to actually manifest the life of our dreams, to manifest a physical result in a physical world. How to manifest a physical result. We're going to answer that question as best we can in this little short video. This image basically helps a person to kind of recognize what it takes in order to accomplish a purpose. And it actually reveals to us a key to actually accomplishing a result from a decision that we make. So let's just jump right in. Let's start right here in the corner. First of all, what we do is we make a decision, okay? A decision. We desire to have something, and we're looking straight across and we see the result. That's what we want. And that's how it is in life for the most part. We see something we want. We want to accomplish this. We like that. We want to learn a skill or something, okay? And we can see it. We see somebody else that has that skill, okay? Man, I want that, okay? You're wanting to manifest it into your life, okay? The potential growth in time. With potential growth in time, we want to be able to obtain this result. So the question is what growth do we have to do in time to obtain this result, okay? Well, this horizontal line right here is mind, logic. So what we need to do is figure out, we have to come to an understanding. We have to, let's just use the illustration to go to school to become an engineer, for instance. I want to go to school to become an engineer. That's the decision I've made. That's my desire. The potential growth in time will determine whether I ever have that result, okay? So we have to have, so in order to manifest, we have to be able to show potential growth in time toward the solution of what we're trying to manifest. Well, how do we do that? Well, with this triangle here shows us is what's happening, okay? Well, first of all, it says effort in time to understand and create path to result. Okay, that's this vertical line right here. The effort in time to understand and create path to result. Okay, that's what we're wanting to do. So we made a decision. We made a decision, will to will, we want a result. Okay, so we've made this decision, we want a result. We see the result we want. And the better we see it, the more visual connection between we have in it, the more detailed we see the result here, and we then accompany what we see with action in a physical way. So for instance, we want to go to college. We decided we want to become an engineer. We see all the blessings and benefits that come to becoming an engineer. Okay, we want that. Okay, well, what do we have to do? Can we sit on the couch at home and become an engineer? No, we have to take the best path forward. And that's what this is. We have to desire it, and we have to use our body. We have to find the steps to create. The first cause then is to find the steps to create what it is we want, the result. I want a college education as an engineer. What do I have to do? And then you start making plans for that. You see it, you desire it, you plan your life according to having it, and then you take the best steps possible to accomplish it. Okay? Effort in time to understand and create path to result. You start reading engineering books. You take curriculum in school, what's available to you now. Whatever it takes to try and go to work for an engineering firm as some sort of a clerk or something. So that you can become learning engineers as friends and so forth. Put yourself in a position, if you don't have the money, to possibly obtain the money by some means. Maybe working for an engineering firm, and if they like you enough, they'll pay you to go, and you commit to working there for so long or something. Things like that. The thing is, you have to work on the potential growth in time to accomplish the result, which is mind, logic, and in bringing that mind and logic into a step-by-step process to accomplish your goal. Now, it may mean that what we have to do is start becoming what we want the result. And that's what it is in the case of becoming an engineer. In other words, when you go to school and you become an engineer, it's not something you can take off and put on. You change yourself into a person that thinks in the terms of being an engineer, or a doctor. You become a doctor. You become a nurse because you become qualified to naturally do what it is that nurses do, without thinking, because you just know it. You live on faith, okay? And that's what we're talking about. The decision is, I want to become an engineer. I want my life to be engineer faith-based, to where every decision, everything I do, it'll because I have so much confidence in my engineering school skills. I can live by faith, designing stuff. In other words, that's what your goal is to be able to become that in your life. If it's an engineer, you're gonna do engineering stuff and think on those terms, okay? So you're transitioning yourself in a logical way to what you want, okay? But that's not enough, and that's the key. And this is where a lot of people fail, is this other part that I had brought up, and now I'm gonna go back to it again, and that's this part, is you actually have to follow a path to get to the result. You can't just see it and say, man, I want that so bad, I manifest it into my life, okay? Now, all that's well and good, and I'm not saying don't do that, okay? Affirmations and stuff like that, because that's all focusing on you becoming the result. That's what you want. That's all good stuff, okay? But that's not going to get you the result unless you actually start plotting the path. And plotting the path is going to be meditating or thinking about, what is it going to take for me to get a college education? Well, I need to get a high school education to prepare me. What does that take? You make sure that you're taking the correct career. As you're starting to make this, you're starting to move up the line. Eventually, you'll see yourself on some position. Maybe you're about to graduate high school, and the only thing you don't have is the money now. Well, how am I going to pay for it? How am I going to work it out? So you start working on whatever it takes to get the money, whether it's financing through the government, or whether you can borrow money from a friend, or go to work for somebody and they'll pay for it for you as you go. What are the possibilities? In other words, that's what you're trying to accomplish, okay? And at some point, you reach a point to where the solution is understood. I'm going to go to college. I graduated school. I'm going to go to college. I've got the money. I'm enrolled. I'm starting. Now you're on the downhill path, but are you there yet? You're only halfway. Now you actually have to implement. You actually have to do it. The first part was just actually putting yourself in a position where the cause is going to be realized. The rest is you got to keep creating and working and becoming, so that you can actually. So this is like you want to become an engineer, but you don't know nothing. But you're ready to start, and you start learning and learning and learning, and eventually you get to the point where you're the engineer. You're an engineer that has faith in the mechanics and all so forth and so on, to where you're in a position where you can start your actual in the field work. Working for a firm, or of course you need to go through college. You need to go through a training process first before you can just become an engineer. College isn't enough. You need to have practical experience, and that would be another chart like this. I want to get the practical experience. Well, I need to pick a firm to go to work for when I graduate, so where am I going to do that? And then you start searching for firms, and bam, eventually you find a firm that you're looking for, okay? So basically it's a visual description of how a person can accomplish what they want. But the biggest thing about this description I like is it helps a person to see that you've got to find the path. The path isn't straight line. You can see what your result, but you got to follow a path to get to it. And that path is going to be uphill, and to where you're not sure if you can accomplish it, but you keep putting energy in, you keep working, you figure out the steps to create it, until at some point you get to the point where you hit the peak, to where the solution's understood, you know what it takes to make it realized. But then you still have to put the effort into it to continue, because the potential growth in time, if once all it's put together, you don't get in the car and go to school and start learning, then you're not gonna get it. So that's the thing, is the action. You put the mind and the body to create a situation where action is possible, and you get your realized result. By the way, I'm doing this, but this isn't something I figured out on my own. I wish I could say I had, because then, and I had done it when I was a young fella. But this is what people are trying to teach us all the time, everywhere, but it's hard for us to get it. And the part that's hard for us to get it is to recognize we actually have to put in the work. If you want to be a musician, when you see a musician playing music on stage somewhere, you see a man or a woman that's put some work, some time, some effort. They did the work. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people, it's easier to learn, say, music than others, okay? It doesn't take much, but the process is the exact same. They might get to the top, okay? And, oh, yeah, it's easy for me I can make the music sound, I can make the instrument sound good. But you still have to learn the songs, and you have to develop your skill, your personal, let's just take someone like Elton John. I understand music came natural. Playing the piano came natural to him. But in order for him to make a living at it, he actually had to learn some songs. He learned to sing and other things. The singing came natural to him once he learned he could sing, but he didn't know, and he had to develop that skill. And from the natural talents that he had, his desires, because this could be any desire you want. You pick a desire, and this is the process. That's what we're saying. You pick a desire. What is it you want to go? I want to be a woman with that. I want to be a woman that has a husband that appreciates how wonderful a wife he is, and has some children and a family and so forth and so on. So I want to become. So I understand what I need to do now. That's my decision. I want to become that. I want to be a mother with children and a husband and have a nice family, a matriarch of a family. Okay, that's what I want. That's your desire. Well, what's the first thing I better do? I better start learning how to cook. I better start learning how to take care of children. I better start learning how to be the person I need to be in order to accomplish that goal. And you start with yourself. You're becoming, like going to school to be a doctor. Well, you're becoming the mother. You're becoming the cook. You're becoming the lover. You're becoming whatever it takes to make yourself that mother, that woman that a man is going to want to take on as a mother and a wife and a mother, and flip it to the man. Same thing for the man. If the man wants to have a woman that's that wonderful and have a family that she brings into his life and all, he needs to be the man that can do that. He better go to school, become an engineer or some trade, and this is the process to learn that trade. And this is the process to find the woman. And this is the process to manifest the physical result in the world that you're looking for. Manifest your life. So basically, there's no magic to it. It's about effort. It's about effort. The magic is understanding this so well that it becomes effortless, because that's it. There's nothing, in other words, you don't see anywhere on here where it says, oops, you gotta pay a toll. You can't move, you gotta pay a toll. Oh, no, you're not worthy. No, it's just a nice, smooth transition. Yeah, you put the work in till you get to the point where you've actually can see the goal, just like you see it here, and then you work down toward it and you accomplish it. Just that straightforward. Well, this video is here approaching 15 minutes, and so I don't want it to drag out. But I think hopefully I've made it as clear as possible. You make a decision. What do you want? You see it. You visualize it the best you can. You begin to use logic on it. You contemplate, and you put wise effort into it to create the steps necessary to accomplish it. Overcoming all the obstacles until a point where you actually can see the solution and see it in hand. And then at that point, you dedicate yourself to becoming wise. To where you can live in faith, where you can say, I am the doctor, I am the engineer, I am the mother, I am qualified to take you on as a husband or a wife and make sure you're happy the rest of your life to be my husband and wife. And you're going to be the best, we're going to be the best parents because, we've drawn the right person to us because we are that person. Now we're getting into the thought of the power of attraction. We're getting into other, and that's all included in this. So basically, how do you manifest a physical result? You focus it on your mind, and you make it an emotional commitment to it, and you start taking steps in that direction, and the universe, the all is going to say, wow, man, that person knows what they want. They got it in their mind. They're becoming that person. They're qualified. And as you qualify, your position keeps going higher to the point where it's handed to you on a platter, and all you got to do is sit at the table and enjoy it and learn it and grow it and become it. Okay. And at that point, you can take it to the next step. Well, now that I got this education, now I can afford the wife, you know. And of course, hopefully you have been preparing yourself, you know, simultaneously to be the engineer and the good husband, so that you can be moving right along in your life. Before you know it, you're going to have some kids, and you know, life's going to be paradise. You know, and that's what it's about. So this is manifesting. It's easy to do. Thank you very much for listening, and please enjoy the lesson and pass it on. Let other people know how easy it is. All you have to do is just focus it in mind, you know, and that's it. Look, well, thank you very much for listening, and as you can see, I'm excited to teach this, and hopefully you've got benefit from it. Hopefully I'll see you in another video.